All right, thanks, Matt. And as he mentioned, I'm joined now by Larry and Jami. Guys, 3 of the 4 teams in that tournament in the state finals were from the 757. What was that atmosphere like?
Electric. I mean, it was just a nice fan support was incredible. As this, after especially the big fan support they had, the scope went right up to Richmond. I mean, it was just a great atmosphere.
Yeah, it's not unusual for the VCU to sell out for the finals, but usually it's walk-up crowd that sells out. This year they sold out at about 5 p.m. So, everybody wanted to see state championship basketball this season.
And the fans that were there certainly saw some fantastic games. We'll start with the girls, a rematch, a rubber match for the season and the state title, Lake Taylor, Princess Anne, and it goes to the Titans.
Yeah, this was their third matchup. Lake Taylor won during the regular season by a couple of points. That snapped Princess Anne's 112-game winning streak against local teams. Then Princess Anne got revenge in the region championship game, and Lake Taylor came out on top. I think everybody sort of looked at the beginning of the year, and these two were clearly the best 2 teams in Hampton Roads, and they were the top 2 teams in the state during the regular season. So it really wasn't a surprise, but it was a great game. Both teams played well, and Lake Taylor just had really good defense and a lot of good guard play that sort of got them over the top, especially by Linda Stepney, their guard.
And Larry, on the boys' side, I see Norcom kind of a surprise out of the 757, first defeating Chantilly in the semifinals, and then with a 1-point upset over undefeated Petersburg. Just talk about the Greyhounds' efforts in this tournament.
Well, the whole season, the highest they got ranked was number 10, and that was the last poll of the season. Chantilly wasn't ranked in the top 10. So everybody thought Petersburg has this thing. They were ranked in 2 national polls. Everybody thought they were going to just roll over. They hadn't, lost any games. I think 1 game in the last 58 games. And Norcom took them by surprise. They came out, they were hungry. They had 3 good scores, including Dorian Smith-Finney, and they just kept going. They got the momentum. That's what you're trying to do when you get to the tournament time. Get the momentum, carry it, and they did, even when it didn't look good. I mean, Finney was out of the game late. They had 2 other guys foul out, 2 seniors that fouled out, and they still found a way to be able to win. And you could see the stunned look, especially on the Petersburg coach, because I think he thought they had it. But when you miss 17 free throws in a game, it's going to come back to haunt you, and it did that night.
Free throws win games indeed, and not only was it the 757, the public schools, but the private schools as well. Norfolk Christian boys and girls bringing home state titles, and of course we all know about James McAdoo for Norfolk Christian, but really just to see the kind of talent in the 757 has got to be pretty amazing so far.
It is, and you look at Finney-Smith and you look at McAdoo, we're talking about 2 of the top juniors in the country, 2 of the top, especially with McAdoo. And I even put on a blog earlier talking about wouldn't it be nice to see the private school play the public school champion and see who would win. They played each other in the 3rd game of the season, but they're definitely different teams now. But it just shows you the kind of talent we have in this area.
Yeah, most of the Norfolk Christian girls team is full of underclassmen. Galatia Goodhope will be back next year. Danielle Webster, she was a freshman, so she'll be back. So, I'd expect for them to compete again next year for a state title. And, they like to play public schools too, so there should be some really good matchups.
Yeah, and we've talked about the immense talent in this area, and it seems to be overflowing at times. What are going to be some of the names to look forward to in the summer and coming next year?
Maury High School. They made a good run this time. Sim Frazier, the point guard, comes back. They also have Jamal Ferguson. He's only a sophomore, but he played well beyond his years. And they got several other young guys coming in. They're going to be a very, very good team to watch, definitely next year. So I can see them in Norcom. Norcom returns all 3 of their top scorers. It's going to be a fun time again next year for sure.
And Jami, on the girls, is it going to be a PA title, or is Lake Taylor going to look to defend their state championship?
Well, I think right now you sort of have to go with the state champions. They just won a few days ago, so you can't, knock them. But they have most of their starting lineup back. They're going to lose a few role players, but Linda Stepney returns. Toya Jiggets is back. Crystal Leary will be a senior. So most of their key players are back. Princess Anne, though, has Elizabeth Williams coming back. She's a 6'3" senior, center, one of the best players in the country. Samisha Powell graduates and goes to Georgetown, so they will lose her. They'll have to replace her. But certainly Lake Taylor goes in as the favorite, and probably Princess Anne is right there with them.
All right, now we've talked about the favorites for next year. Name a couple of teams that could be dark horses that someone might pop up on the radar screen come January of next year and sort of make a run at this thing.
Kellum. They don't lose anybody. They returned everybody that's coming back. It's a young team that's coming together. They made it to I think it was the quarterfinals. Who knows what they can do? I think they're going to be one of the beach favorites coming up next year. I like them. I like Kellum a lot.
Jami?
Well, I think, Booker T. Washington, you have to consider them after the job Michael Evans has done as their coach the last couple of years. They were right there in the mix in the Eastern District. Western Branch has some pretty good young players, too, so I'd expect them to, make a pretty good run in the Southeastern District.
All right. Well, our thanks to Larry Rubama and Jami Frankenberry for your help both in football and basketball this season, and for putting a bow on this 2009-2010 basketball season.
Thank you.